Overwhelmed by alerts, a guide to risk-based prioritization over CVSS. Last week, we continued our series on 10 best cloud practices for the modern enterprise. Risk-based vulnerability management. SMB Tech and Cybersecurity Leadership Newsletter is a reader-supported publication. To receive new posts and support my work, consider becoming a free or paid subscriber. The sheer volume of new vulnerabilities disclosed daily is overwhelming for even the most well-resourced security teams. Research has shown that organizations, on average, are only able to remediate 10 to 15% of their open vulnerabilities each month. Simultaneously, over half of all known vulnerabilities carry a common vulnerability scoring system CVSS score of high or critical 7.0 or above. This mathematical reality makes a patch everything approach not only impractical, but also strategically flawed. Attempting to address all high-severity vulnerabilities leads to a constant state of reactive firefighting, wastes valuable resources on threats that pose little actual danger, and causes patch fatigue among it and security teams. The limitations of CVSS. The CVSS is an open industry standard for assessing the technical severity of vulnerabilities. It provides a valuable, standardized starting point, but it was never intended to be a comprehensive measure of risk. 39. Its primary limitation is a lack of context. A CVSS score is calculated based on the intrinsic characteristics of a vulnerability, for example, attack vector complexity, but does not account for crucial environmental and temporal factors such as active exploitation. Is the vulnerability being used by attackers in the wild? Asset criticality. Is the affected asset a mission-critical production server or a non-essential development machine? Exposure. Is the asset internet-facing or isolated on an internal network? Compensating controls. Are there other security measures in place like a WAF or strict access controls that mitigate the risk? Relying solely on CVSS for prioritization creates a significant amount of noise and can lead teams to spend time on high-severity, low-risk issues while ignoring lower-severity vulnerabilities that are actively being exploited. The pillars of modern risk-based prioritization. An effective risk-based model synthesizes multiple data streams to create a holistic view of risk. The most critical factors to consider include threat intelligence and exploitability. This is arguably the most important factor beyond CVSS. Evidence that a vulnerability is being actively exploited is the strongest possible indicator of immediate risk. This involves integrating real-time threat intelligence feeds, such as CISA's known exploited vulnerabilities KEV catalog, which lists vulnerabilities that federal agencies are required to patch due to active exploitation. Furthermore, predictive models like the Exploit Prediction Scoring System EPS provide a probability score from 0% to 100%, indicating the likelihood that a vulnerability will be exploited in the next 30 days, offering a powerful forward-looking perspective. Exposure and attack path analysis. The context of a vulnerability within the network architecture is paramount. A vulnerability on an internet-facing system is inherently more exposed than one on a deeply segmented internal network. Modern security platforms take this a step further with attack path analysis, which models how an attacker could chain together multiple vulnerabilities, misconfigurations, and excessive permissions to move laterally through the network and reach a high-value asset. 9. Prioritizing vulnerabilities that act as choke points or key links in these attack chains is an incredibly effective way to disrupt attackers and reduce risk. Microsoft implementation. The Microsoft Security Suite is built from the ground up to support a sophisticated, risk-based prioritization model. Microsoft Defender Vulnerability Management. This solution moves far beyond traditional CVSS-based scanning. It inherently uses a risk-based prioritization engine that enriches its findings with a wealth of contextual data. 20. The platform correlates discovered vulnerabilities with Microsoft's threat intelligence. Drawing from trillions of daily signals, Defender identifies which vulnerabilities are associated with active exploits, malware campaigns, or emerging threats. Breach likelihood predictions. It uses machine learning to predict the likelihood of a breach based on the vulnerability and the device's posture. Business context. It identifies and prioritizes vulnerabilities on assets that are deemed business critical, either through automated discovery or manual tagging. This allows Defender Vulnerability Management to surface a single, prioritized list of security recommendations focused on the threats that pose the highest risk to the organization. Microsoft Defender for Cloud Attack Path Analysis. This is one of the most powerful capabilities for contextual risk prioritization available today. Attack Path Analysis, a key feature of Defender CSPM, provides a visual graph-based map of potential attack routes within the cloud environment. 3. It doesn't just show a list of isolated vulnerabilities. It shows how an attacker could, for example, exploit a public-facing web application vulnerability. Use the compromised identity of the web application to access a key vault. Retrieve credentials from the key vault. Use those credentials to access a production database containing sensitive data. By visualizing this entire chain, Defender for Cloud allows security teams to prioritize the remediation of the specific vulnerability or misconfiguration that would break the attack chain, providing the ultimate form of risk-based prioritization. This approach transforms the conversation with business leaders. Instead of reporting on abstract technical metrics, a CISO can present a clear, data-driven narrative about business impact. For instance, a report can shift from stating, "We patched 5,000 vulnerabilities this month," to "We eliminated the 10 most likely attack paths to our customer database by remediating 50 critical exposures." This language of risk reduction is far more meaningful and aligns security efforts directly with business objectives, a core principle of frameworks like the NIST Risk Management Framework (RF).